Sorry about that brief pause. My phone died, unfortunately.
Well, we'll just say technical difficulty.
Always.
But before I go any further,
Yes.
my right arm, right here.
Yes.
There's a lot of me that you hear. There's a lot of me that you see. My right arm.
So introduce your right arm.
Hi, my name is Erica. I'm his engineer and his right arm.
Well, welcome, Erica. Sorry for not introducing you earlier, but we got caught up in all of your amazing stories.
Yeah.
But
It's about him today.
he wouldn't be able to do half the stuff, I imagine, if he didn't have
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
And I'm
why
big
you're
on
his right
acknowledgement.
arm. Yeah, definitely.
And I know so much of me. She makes me sound better and look better.
Yeah.
All right? Don't make me look better like this because I can never look like that. Right? That's a dime right there. All right?
Yes.
But so anyway, getting back to my story, this young man was in the car. He falls asleep, and his mother says they arrested him. They brought him down to court, and they were going to arraign him. I said, no, let me show up to court. So I show up to court, and I speak to the district attorney, which I will tell you who that was at the time. And I said to him, I says, listen, I don't want this young man arrested. I don't want him put into the system because so many of us don't have that opportunity in our communities. They just throw us in the system, and now we're labeled, and we got to fight with that one brief mistake for the rest of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
I said, but I do want him to have consequences. So the district attorney, who was black, he says, well, what would you want? I said, his punishment or consequence is he has to come with me. He has to wash my trucks. Mm-hmm. He has to clean my warehouse. Mm-hmm. And he has to go where I go, see what I see, and listen to what I say.
That's amazing.
All right?
That's awesome.
And I'm sure once he's done with that, he'll see another way about changing his life, right?
Exactly.
So the district attorney said at the time, he said, you don't know how blessed you are because we don't get those opportunities. And he's willing to take you in after you rob this truck and put you under his wing and teach you. But once again, that was part of me and giving back. So fast forwarding to the arrest, all right, and the 2 years of having my life up in limbo. 2 years later, I was acquitted and found innocent of all charges. Yeah, to God be the glory.
Amen.
And I think a lot of that has to do with some of the seeds you plant.
Yeah.
You never know when God's gonna manifest and harvest them. I was harvesting those seeds for years and years. The mother I moved from the Bronx, the kid I helped, the domestic violence, moving families from here to North Carolina, up and down the East Coast, staving off evictions when landlords wanted to kick people out, and I would show up and I would say, no, you can't kick them out until I move them. So I'm planting seeds, and it came back to harvest. And God said, even in my darkest hour, when sometimes I doubted him, he said, I got you.
All the time.
Yes.
All the time.
I got you, And it wasn't easy because when you face in that kind of time every day, you wake up, every waking moment, it just focuses and it weighs on you, But God, when sometimes you don't see light at the end of the tunnel, and you don't know there's a way, that's when he truly is carrying you. Because he had me. And some days I would challenge him. Some days I was like, why? Why? Where am I going? What do you want from me? But yes, but every time I did that, when I went to court, he showed me another light. Because he went through them with a fine-tooth comb, So that night, after they said the jury is going to convene and they're going to decide, right? They were in deliberation for about, oh my goodness, almost a day and a half.
Wow.
Yeah.
You would think it was a murder trial.
Oh, yeah. Well, because you know why? There was a lot of stuff they had to go through because I will say
in that case it was good.
It was good. Yeah, it was good because my attorney says, no, the longer they stay, the more they're going through stuff. Because this was such an intense trial, they had to take notes. Because they tried to really throw all this science stuff at me and stuff like that.
Forensic scientists.
And I will say this, all right, let's go back to that part, the criminal piece of my life. I feel that I never would have gotten arrested, all right? Once again, I was charged and I was facing 35 years. But
Yeah.
this is where it went south for me. One day I get a call from the detective, and he says, "Hey, Mr. Bosh, can you come down to the police station? I just want to close your case up." Now I'm saying to myself, I complied with everything you guys wanted, my financials, this, that, and the other. Why do I got to come to the police station? But in the spirit of cooperation and not giving them any reason to not pay my claim, I went down there. So I'm going to say this, ladies, you have children. And Erica, when you have a child, and especially a young black man, if you don't hear anything I say, hear this.
Listen up, y'all.
Listen clearly.
Do not go to the police station without an attorney.
Yep.
I don't care what they say. When they say, well, if you didn't do anything wrong, what you have to worry about?
They would try to say that.
No,
Yep.
It's your constitutional right. All right, because think about it. How often do you see police go down there without attorneys?
Yep.
Soon as they get in trouble, call my representative.
All the time.
Any police officer worth his weight in salt would not send his son to a police station.
Nope.
So I say this again, no matter what, do not go to the police station without an attorney, especially when they say this is a criminal investigation.
Yeah.
Why? Because chances are you're not going to come out the same,
Yeah.
especially people of color,
Exactly.
if we come out at all.
Yep. That is so
And
true.
that was my situation.
9
9 hours of being just totally,
9 hours.
yes.
That's how
Just-
they do it. They wear you down.
trying to wear you down.
Yep.
Trying
Yep.
false confession, this, that, and the other. I would not confess, and I said I did not burn down my building.
Exactly.
9 hours later, after just totally harassing me, they arrested me.
Oh, wow.
So now, there's not a day in my life right now that I don't regret that. Because if I didn't go down there, and if I would have called my lawyer, he would have went down there and he would have said, first of all, is my client
Being arrested.
Yeah. Oh, no, is he
Being
a suspect?
Is a suspect. Yeah.
And then when they would have asked a couple of questions, all right, is he being charged? We're out of here.
Yeah, basically.
He has no more to say. And he should not have to say anymore. All right? So, I was
Know
arrested.
your rights.
Yeah, know your rights. Which leads me to my next step. I was acquitted. I said to myself, what am I going to do? And, I was laying in bed and, I was just figuring out what I wanted to do with the rest of my life because I know I was spared for a reason.
Yes.
And God saved me and he wanted me to do something. All right. And not only was I saved, I was acquitted. Do you know the chances of a black man going to trial, slim to none, and slim is out of town?
Exactly.
All right.
So
That's
you
how,
guys-
yeah. All right. None.
Yeah.
Right. But I was acquitted, found innocent in a criminal justice system that is designed to put us away.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe me, read The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. And it was amazing that I didn't escape, but that he rose me above that.
That's good.
And justice
God.
was truly served. So I said to myself, all right, what do I want to do? What can I do? And he said, you need to teach, you need to educate. So that's when I got involved with this organization called It Could Happen to You. Yeah. And through that, my advocacy work began in criminal justice. And what I then said to myself was, what I went through, I can't change. But I want to do something where your son, all right, her future son or daughter does not go through what I went through. I want there's some type of right, some type of law where cops just can't come in, throw stuff up against the wall, ruin your life.
Exactly.
All right. Even though I was acquitted, I was found guilty or innocent, my life was still ruined.
Yep.
All right. So what can I do? So I got involved with this group called It Can Happen to You. Met a lot of outstanding champions and servants of justice who believe, like-minded people who believed in what I believed in. And a lot of them were convicted, wrongfully convicted. I was wrongfully prosecuted. And we started advocating. And we wanted to change the law. And what our law was about was it's called the Commission on Prosecutorial Conduct, where we now, all right, there's a law on the books where we, New York State, can hold prosecutors accountable. All right? if they mess up. Because, give you a perfect example. In my case, every day the state forensic the insurance company kept saying, all right, did you do something? Did you do something? And the prosecutor, to a certain certain level of his defense, all right, that's my grandson calling for ice cream. Just ignore it. All right, yep, right. He kept saying, we have nothing on Mr. Bosh, but they still proceeded with the case, knowing, all right, full well they never had anything. And this is why I said we should be able to hold them accountable. Exactly. All right. The state's own forensic expert, his name was Brian Mindweiser. All right. Now, granted, I wouldn't have found out none of this if I didn't go to trial. See, most of us in the criminal justice system, when we get charged, we come in there like a dog wagging our tail, and we fall on the mercy of the court, and we think, right, and we think plea. All right, I said to myself, no, I'm not taking a plea. And the day that my trial started, all right, they were offering me 35 years. I knew they didn't have anything because the day of the trial, the judge says to me, and mind you, ladies and gentlemen, I went through 3 judges and 3 district attorneys, so eventually they say either you try this man or you let him go.
Wow.
So the day I was supposed to start my trial, the judge says, Mr. Bosh, would you be willing to take 2 1/3 to 5? Now, in layman's terms, that means 2 1/3 to 5. My lawyer would have got me 18 months. I would have been home in 12. I never would have went to a state facility. But I said to myself, I would be doing myself a disservice, and I would be doing God a disservice. Because he's carried me this long.
Amen for that.
And come on with it. Because I was resolved to say, whatever happens, I know God has me. So going back to this little piece of evidence where I said prosecutors do wrong things. Brian Mindweiser, and this is stuff you don't find out if you don't go to trial, and most of us don't go to trial because we don't have the resources. We take pleas. The state's own forensic expert says, I find no evidence to support Mr. Bosh started this fire.
Exactly.
I wouldn't have never knew none of that if I didn't go to trial.
Yeah.
All right,
So
now,
even with all that, they still proceeded with the
not only proceeded, let me tell you some of the other stuff they did.
Oh my
all right,
God.
One of their investigators, all right, came, took evidence from my house, put it in his car, went home with it, and had a cookout.
A whole time. Oh my
For the weekend.
Wow.
Then he brings it to the state lab. All right. This was the stuff they did. All right. Here's another thing. And listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, I was arrested for arson. So they were hanging their hat on. They said, I allegedly burned down my house because I didn't want to fix up my back porch, which cost $670. So when they went through all my belongings and stuff like that, and I'm not bragging, ladies, I had leather suits that cost more than $670. I had alligator shoes. When they did an assessment of my wardrobe, it was upwards of $150,000. I had art in my house that was painted by this artist that Bill Cosby sent to school that would have been worth $100,000 right now today, because I got him when he was in school. All right. So when they did all of this, they said, well, we're hanging our hat on because the fire dog came to Mr. Bosh's house, Emma, the fire dog, and she smelled hits, an accelerant. Now, let me say this. I know more about a fire than the law allows. You can strike a match, and I can tell you how it's going to burn. All right? I can tell you, all right, what accelerants, like in New York State, all back porches have a natural ingrained accelerant in. Pine has a natural accelerant in that most people don't know. All right? So, long story short, they said Emma came to the house, and she noticed there were several hits. That means hits of an accelerant. My lawyer, God bless him, he was masterful. He says, okay, so you say Emma came, mind you, a month after the fire. The fire was in April. Emma came in June. My stuff is laid out there in the elements. People are walking through it and stuff like that. And they are still able to come back and find stuff. So he says Emma, the fire dog, came and found elements of an accelerant. All right? So he says, okay, what is Emma trained to do? And he says, I got them before they even know about it. He says, well, Emma's trained to smell an accelerant, you know, gasoline, kerosene, blah, 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 blah. She's trained. So this is where he got him. He says, Your Honor, I submit, I want to know the report on Emma, meaning they must have some type of logbook on Emma, the fire dog. And if they do, I want to know or in this Emma ever made a mistake. So I'm like, what are you doing? He says, all I got to say is one mistake.
That's it.
I got to find one mistake and I got it. Yeah. So the judge says, well, you got to go get a logbook. So then they say, well, we think we got something in the office, in the desk. And I say, this is their problem. They were so arrogant because they thought I was going to take a plea. They were never ready for me to go to trial. So they didn't have, all their evidence was in shambles. Because they said, wait a minute, he's going to trial? So they were throwing stuff together every day to try to make it look presentable. And every day I would go through their evidence and stuff like that. So we start questioning Emma, right? So the judge says, you better find me a logbook about Emma. So the next day they come to court, my lawyer says, I'm doing the old rope-a-dope. Ali, just laying on the rope and letting them punch themselves out. He kept saying the rope-a-dope. Yes, he said, they thinking one thing and I'm doing another.
I know that's
So
right.
they come to trial the next day and they says, well, we have a logbook, Your Honor. So the judge says, well, did Emma ever make a mistake? Well, she made 2.
Even better. We only wanted 1, but thank you for giving us 2. Amen.
So you're saying you're hanging your case on the testimony of a dog that's already made 2 mistakes. So my lawyer, he didn't even want that.
Yeah.
This is what he was aiming at. He says, Your Honor, this is what I want to say. You know, you have a constitutional right to question your accuser. See where I'm going with this? And when I speak all over the country, when I speak at colleges, I speak to future lawyers and stuff, they love this part. So my lawyer says, how do I question a dog? Ruff, 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 ruff. How do I question a dog? All right? And the judge looked at the prosecution and said, you got a big problem. He said, how do I question a dog? Because that's the state's star witness. My client has a constitutional right to question his accuser. How do I question a dog? And the judge looked over his glasses and says, you guys got a big problem. So basically, the judge says the dog's whatever, testimony or whatever is out. So with that out, we were smooth sailing. You know? But once again, ladies, I wouldn't have known none of this if I didn't go to trial. But I had a faith. I had a faith. I had a praying grandmother, as they say. A praying grandmother. All right, that said, my son ain't going. No, will not. Yes. My sister, bless her heart, my whole family got together. My sister called the school where they train. See, in New York State, they have 2 degrees of an arson expert. An arson expert 1 and an arson expert 2. My sister called the daggone school and said, listen, you got to listen to my case because my brother ain't going to jail.
I know that's right.
At the time, she worked for me. And this is unprecedented because cops stick with cops. He taught cops, police officers. But this man, she actually got him on the phone. And what he said was, Miss Kimball, I can't testify, but from what you sent me, they're trying to, shaft and railroad your brother. So every day, he would talk to my lawyer, and he would tell them the questions to ask. This was God. This was God. This was God, all right? And this, I tell you, so this is a part of me that really shaped me, all right, and my faith in the criminal justice system, all right? And then the people on the jury, because my attorney says this case is so complicated, they need to take notes. Lauren Williams, a black sister, she was the affirmative action officer at State University of Albany at the time. Bless her heart. because she every day was taking notes, and over a period of time, she was looking at some of the people who might have had some doubt, and every time we would catch them, she would, you know.
That's awesome.
And there was another lady who on the jury. See, this is how God works for you. When I was acquitted, I had to go to the chiropractor. So 2 weeks later, I went for an appointment at the chiropractor's office, and I'm standing there. So the reception comes out and he says, "Mr. Bosh, if you don't want to come to this office, we totally understand." But at the time, she said the name, I don't remember, but she says she works here, and it was another lady on the jury.
Wow.
I said, "No, I would love to speak with her." She came out in tears, and she said, "You don't know, when we would go back to the jury room, we cried over what they did."
Wow, that's so moving.
Because my lawyer, when he opened up the case, he says, "Now what you've heard out there and what you're going to see and hear is totally different.
Exactly.
You heard sensationalism out there. Here, you're going to deal with facts.
Yeah.
All right? You heard this, the news, that's money driven, but here, we're going to deal with facts and truth. And trust me, at the end of this trial, you will have facts and truth." And she said, "I couldn't believe what they did to you and how you stood so strong." So after that, like I said, I wanted to go and I wanted to do something. I wanted to advocate. I wanted to change the system. So I got involved with some great people. One particular brother, his name is Jeff Destokovich. He was wrongfully convicted, did 16 years on rape and murder, and was exonerated, and came out, and very good friend, came out, and just last year he graduated Pace Law School.
Okay.
Right?
I wanted to go to Pace.
I emceed his big graduation. He came out, he sued, got $42 million. All right, yep. So he got justice. So I got involved with him, and you know what? Jeff would always say to me, he says, "Let me tell you something, Bosh." He said, "My story is good, but I was wrongfully convicted, but you won."
Exactly.
Your story relates to, he would tell me, middle America. Because I would always tell people, and when I speak all over the country, I always start off my story by saying, how many of you in this room have had a bad experience with an insurance company? Raise your hand. Yeah. Now, how many of us have had a bad experience with an insurance? Whether it's car, health, all of us have had a nightmare with an insurance company.
Especially when it comes to paying.
Exactly. Exactly. So I would say my experience is bad 2.0. And that would resonate with people.
Definitely.
You know, because, you know, people of different walks of life, different colors, they all could relate to that. Opposed to wrongful conviction, you're only involved with that if you know somebody who's been wrongfully convicted.
Yeah.
But this is like, wow.
Everybody can relate.
Right. With the insurance company.
Yep.
Some type of issue with the insurance company.
They don't want to be paying.
Exactly. So my advocacy work led to us last year passing a bill, and it's called the Commission on Prosecutorial Conduct. All right.
Congratulations. We got
we now can hold prosecutors accountable.
Well, amen for
when they do things wrong. And people don't really realize, and I'm not tooting my own horn.
It's okay to pat yourself on the back.
I know that's right.
My name is in the New York State Legislative Journal. They stood up and they acknowledged me, my advocacy work in my case, the day they passed the bill. You know, and we took pictures and everything because they highlighted 3 cases. They highlighted Jeff's, they highlighted this brother from Pennsylvania, and they highlighted my name. So I say that to say a lot of the freedoms and liberties that people are going to get from this bill, they don't even know I'm here.
Exactly.
They don't even know the guy who was behind that, along with a lot of other people. All right?
Paved the way.
Yeah, paved the way. Pioneer, trailblazer, maverick. All right? And a lot of them don't even know that it was me right here in the Capital District. And the reason why that is such a gratifying experience and victory, because it was the district attorney here, a brother, who tried to send me away. David Soares. And you know something, like I say, I don't hate you. All right? I don't have any ill will, even though he avoids me a lot because we've been invited to speak at, you know, certain functions, and for some reason he won't show up. I don't hate you, brother, because you were hoodwinked and bamboozled by a bunch of overzealous cops that sold you a bill of goods and you thought you needed to proceed with a prosecution. And let me tell you something even more gratifying. I don't hate you because you were the prosecutor who helped me save that kid.
Exactly.
Remember I told you the story?
Yeah.
It was a black prosecutor.
Yeah.
So when you were just a lowly prosecutor in city court, working city court, and you said, I admire what you're doing, Mr. Bosh. Well, I'm that same guy then that I am now. And that same guy that you tried to put away, I'm still that same person. Morning, noon, and night. That's who I am. So, like I said, that led me to advocacy work, which led me to now, God bless me to, because I asked him, what do you want me to do? How do you really want me to make a difference? And it led me to media, radio, TV. I just started my own media company.
Congratulations.
Remo Media.
Yes.
Type
it in the date. We're gonna write it. I don't have my extra phone. It died. Sorry, guys.
Yep, Remo Media. And
we're gonna put all his contact information again in the thing.
It's given me the opportunity to make a difference, to really bring awareness and exposure to people. I know eventually I have a book, I have a book.
Get that story.
But more importantly, and I say this a lot too, when I speak, I always start out by saying, I'm a genius.
Yeah, God is great.
And when people say that, they hear me say that, I say, I'm a genius. And I say, you know why? Because I'm smart enough to surround myself with geniuses. Right here. Right here.
Powerful minds.
That makes me a genius. Because
say that.
I'm smart enough to surround myself with geniuses that teach me. I know I ain't the smartest person in the world, but I'm the smartest person that will be around the smartest people in the world. You see?
And a combination to make us all geniuses.
Right. And God has truly blessed me with that, to the point where one of my favorite Bible scriptures is a person's gift shall make room for him, and he shall be amongst greatness. Well, God has made room for my gift, and he puts me amongst greatness each and every day, by being able to do what I do, not being in lockdown. Instead, I get to go to lockdown and talk to people and encourage them. Yes, if you think it was bad, look what I was facing.
Exactly.
All right, I've been in your shoes, and I know you can change your life. You have to want it. And now he's given me that platform to make a difference, and I'm so glad about that in terms of what I do and how I go about it. So
God is great. That is amazing journey.
Yes.
So what is your vision for MTV?
Well, MTV, my vision is, I would say in 5 years, I hope that I will have had opportunity to hand it off to somebody. And that we will have made an impact by, developing programs, scholarships, getting people involved in the community, teaching them how to start a business, financial literature, financial health and wellness, as well as physical health and wellness. One of the things that I try to teach when I speak to people about starting their own business is I tell people all the time, you don't need a lot of money to get good credit. Hang on this. But you need good credit to get a lot of money.
That is a whole fact.
You see, people don't realize that. I'm going to say that again. You don't need a lot of money to get good credit, but you need good credit to get a lot of money. So work on your credit.
I fix people's credit all the time. I help them fix themselves. I tell them where they can go to, how they can do it. They think they have to pay these people to get their credit score taken care of when they can do it themselves.
Yes, and then 5 years, I hope that I have a scholarship fund. Awesome. That every year, we're doing stuff. I hope and pray that my network will have grown to so many people where I want to start my own mentoring school. Where you can call a 800 number and say, I need mentoring in, mechanics. I need mentoring in writing a book. I need mentoring in, starting my own podcast. We got that person for you. You see? So that's where I see MTV at, and being in able hands, that
Made to Believe, you guys, for those of you just rejoining us.
Made to Believe LLC Network.
There we go. Made to, the number 2, believe.
So that's where I see myself at. and still hanging around, making a difference, being an impact in people's lives, because I'm either a learner or a teacher.
Yeah.
So that's where I wanted to go.
I like to be both. I like to learn and teach.
Yeah, right.
Give me all
in
that
addition to
knowledge.
like that, speaking, throughout the country, sharing my story, you're overcoming adversity specialist, alive and well, and still doing it, and speaking to like-minded folks all over the country that when they look out and see darkness and despair and they don't think that there's any hope, to say, no, there is hope.
Yes.
And here's my story when everything was against me. I had 7 agencies trying to hang my hide, and they were doing everything they possibly could to do that I overcame that adversity, and now as a result of that, I was able to turn that, as I always say, I was able to turn a setback into a setup for a comeback.
I like that.
Yes.
Oh, that's another saying of it. I'm gonna have to write these down. I like that. I like to set that setback for a setup for the comeback.
Yes.
Something like that. But
Yeah.
I like
Something that they-
it was close. But that's all right, because I have a tendency to butcher the English language. Today I'm pretty grammatically correct. But usually I start off with 2 knives, and I'm like, look, with a bottle of hot sauce. I said, I may butcher the English language a little bit, but trust me, when I'm done,
you will understand.
You will understand. You will
Mm-hmm.
understand my presentation, that tomorrow when you wake up, it's going to change your life.
That is so true.
Or you're going to want to change your life like kids want Christmas in December.
All right then.
Yes.
So tell us about you have a podcast too, right?
Yeah, working on that. Yep, a podcast.
Okay.
Yep. I have a podcast, and then I also have I actually have a radio.
A
show.
radio.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
right.
So,
because when some
I
people
get
say,
confused.
no, I actually
So you have a
ra-
whole radio station.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
Nice.
Sanctuary for Independent Media.
Where do we
Yep.
find that at?
All right, here we go. You just go Google mediasanctuary.org,
Okay.
and it comes up and it shows all the wonderful things we do. We're right here in Troy.
Wait, that's
Yeah.
down the
Yeah.
road from my
That's
house.
what I was trying to tell
What?
you.
And I always wanted to go there.
I was
See how he
telling
does it? See how he does it? I always wanted. I'm
And
like,
let me
what
tell
is
you,
that?
let me tell
But
you.
I love the word
Yep.
sanctuary.
And-
So I'm
and-
like, and media. I don't know what that means.
And let me share a story with you, how God has blessed me and enlarged my territory and put people around me that has helped me. All right, you never know who your blessing's going to be.
Oh, I know. That's.
I'm going to share a story with you. So one day, I'm in studio getting ready to do a segment, and I'm really a stickler. I want things done right. So this young intern comes in, and she's sitting there, and she's just doodling on her phone, that and the other, right? I'm like, who is this chick? Don't she know who I am? It was, yep. So then eventually another production assistant comes in and says, Erica, are you gonna? I'm done, I can't handle this, and walks out. Now, there was a part of me that was really frustrated.
Yeah.
But then there was another part of me that's saying, she's just having a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
That's this young lady.
Aww. I got killed. Right.
Yeah. But you never know.
No, you don't.
Because it could have went the other way, and
It
I could have
could've.
got frustrated.
Yeah.
But I actually laughed.
Take your time back.
And I just said she's just having a bad day. And then what I loved about her was the next day we got to know each other, and she was so hungry to learn.
Yeah.
And wanting to learn. But see how it could have just very well went the wrong way.
Because people react differently.
Yes.
Taking the time out to just
Yeah,
talk.
I mean, she's coming in the studio, she's on the phone, and then she just jumps up
Yep.
5 seconds before we're ready to go on air, and she walks out.
Because people don't.
So I'm like, who's gonna do the
know
engineering?
what everybody's going on in
Right.
their lives.
Right.
Something could have happened really
She
bad
could have
that
been having
day.
a moment.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there like, well, who's going to engineer? She just
Exactly.
walks out. But you know what? Let me tell you something. We're thick as thieves. Yep, this is my girl.
Aw.
Yeah, yeah, and I brag about her to the high heavens.
Amen.
Yeah, but that
Only
was
places,
that
honey,
was one of
only
my
places.
that was one of my favorite stories. I'm like, what?
I can't do this. I'm gonna go.
Hey, we
She
get
said
ready to
she
go
had
on
enough
air.
already.
Yep, she just.
What do we do?
Yep. When she came in, I accepted her. I'm like,
It's like, oh,
Yep, can we
all
talk?
we do,
Yep.
because sometimes you just want to get up and go somewhere.
Yeah,
Like,
but you know what I loved
can't
about
handle
it?
that stress
She
at that
came
moment.
in the next day and she acted like nothing happened.
Whatever, I'm back. Ready to get back?
How are you?
Let's go.
How's everything? Ready to engineer?
Let's go.
I guess we are
I
ready
got
to
some
engineer.
engineering to do here, guys.
Yeah, but are you gonna stick around this time?
Well, let's see. Let's just hope and pray.
I might. It depends.
If the phone don't ring and annoy me, it's something major
Yep,
God
right.
comes along.
But
Exactly.
that was a blessing. But yeah,
So you're right there in
Right
Media
there.
Sanctuary.
it's an old church. Yeah.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
I bought my house like 10 years ago. I'm literally, I ain't gonna tell y'all where I live at, but I'm down the block. Okay, down the block, down yay.
Mhm.
But anywho, and every time I'm like that, the whole sanctuary. I'm all about peace and serenity and just and I'm like media. What is media sanctuary? And I think I googled it one day because I remember you guys did the whole Freedom Square.
Oh yeah,
thing.
we do something. The Freedom Square, the concerts.
Yeah,
I
you
MC
guys
all of those
do all the time.
concerts.
And I never get
Yeah,
to, 'cause
we're
I work, like,
involved
a
in
million
so many
hours,
things.
but-
Like every year,
Yes.
we give a real big Christmas party, and I'm the MC.
Oh,
And
wow.
free food, free gifts, free family photos and headshots. That headshot that you see of me in the blue suit, all right, that was taken compliment. Yeah.
I don't have my phone.
Yep, that was taking compliments of the sanctuary.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yep. This was free right there. You see?
Let me show you.
Give me that
Yeah, let me get you the headshot, okay?
Yeah.
Look at your boy, your man. No,
Yeah,
sorry. Look at your man right there.
Yeah.
That's a nice picture, you guys.
This was
So
we have
Media
some-
Sanctuary right on 5th Avenue
Yep.
in Troy.
And you know exactly where it is. No, it's 2331 6th Avenue.
Oh,
Yeah, I was
I-
like, Sixth Avenue.
I've been
Yep,
here for
6th
10 years. I always get, because it changes.
Yeah, it
on the
changes,
5th.
Yeah.
right. Yep.
I'm on the 5th end of it.
Yep. And I always say right past where Stewart's used to be and right before the park.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
Yep, right
Yeah.
there.
And it's right on your left-hand side if you're going up towards Lansing.
Exactly.
Yep.
But, so, how'd you start it with them?
Well, someone who knew someone
Yeah.
said, I got this guy that you really need to reach out to. And someone told me, you need to really go and speak to this guy named Steve. He's getting ready to start a radio station and they need someone like you. So I'm like, okay, fine. So I went and we had this big meeting because we didn't go on air until almost 2 years after we had our first meeting. So we
It
had
takes
this,
time, you guys.
exactly.
It takes time,
yeah.
So yeah, and I always get on him about this. I joke with it. So we have this big meeting, and Steve sells us this bill of goods that we're going to be on air in 3 months, and blah 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 blah. And start making up your show, and everybody's going to have
Sounds
their own
good.
show, and this, that, and the other, right? 3 months came,
And what
no
happened
show.
was.
All right, but by that time I had got the bug, and I was hungry, so I kept bugging him. And I was bugging him so much that he would, when I would come down there, he eventually gave me to this intern named Anton, right? And Anton started teaching me and stuff like that. He said, I don't know when we're going to come on. So eventually, they got up and they were running, and I ran into this once again. Some of the best things in my life have happened by faith.
Always.
All right? Just like how I started my moving business. And it didn't happen because I had this grandiose scheme or plan. It just happened by being in the right place, the right time.
God will
And
bring them to you.
Exactly. Build it and they will come. You see? And put yourself in a position and God will provide. Or as I always say, have the vision
Yes.
and God will put the PRO in front of the vision, which is what?
Provision.
Provision.
Ah, I like that.
You see?
Another one.
You see?
He is just blessing us with all of these.
So I
I
always
hope you got a book with all that stuff in, because I need that in my life.
I always had the vision, and God put the PRO/Steve, which was
Yes.
provision. I ran into him at the post office, and he said, "Are you still interested?"
Yes. Yeah.
The rest is history.
Yeah.
I've done upwards of 150 shows.
Wow.
I've probably done just like shows like this. I've done TV. I've done newspaper. Spoke all over the country. Spoke all over the state. So God has blessed me.
That
Yeah.
is
And you know something?
Yes.
In my wildest dream, that's why I said I'm living a dream. I'm living a blessing. If you would have told me I would have been in this position 3-4 years ago, because it has not been easy. I had my challenges. I had my doubt. I would have said, you crazy. To be in this position, to have, look, all of these are real pictures of
Yes.
things that I've been involved with. You know, things that I spoke at, you know, people that I've met, you know, the opportunity that I have, I would say, you're crazy. You know, I mean,
we don't see it
I spoke
happening
in-
until it happens.
right.
That's
I
what
spoke in
happens.
front of crowds,
Yes.
1,500 people, you know, in Charlotte, North Carolina. But God had said, listen, when you thought you were supposed, see, I thought,
We always look too small.
right,
Yeah.
right.
God
I always
has, he
thought,
has his own
exactly,
plan.
and I had to accept that. I had to receive that. I thought the moving and storage business was going to be my claim to fame, and that's how I was going to ride off into the sunset.
God's like, no,
God said,
that's
trust
only
me.
a little.
I got something
Yeah,
else for you.
I got something bigger. I'm like, me speaking all over the country, this, that. Well, what are you going to do? He said, I got to have you go through something
Yes.
to get something.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, granted, all right, he had me go through
Something.
being arrested,
Mhm.
all right, facing 7 felony counts, facing 35 years in prison. All right, he had me go through that to get here.
Yeah.
All right, but I had to go through something. So now, what I say to God on a regular basis.
What do I gotta go through
No. What I say, the next time you want a brother to go through something, all right?
Give me a warning.
Oh yeah, just give me a warning, God. You know. All right, look.
Give me a heads up.
Look. I always say, don't hit me on Facebook. Hit me on your book, the Bible. But just holler at a brother. You don't have to get me arrested,
Let me know.
facing 35
Just
years.
tap me on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, somebody
God.
told me, God, did it have to be that serious?
Exactly. Just knock on a brother's door. Yep.
He
And
said,
I know,
"I'ma knock on your
right.
door."
I know you ain't on Facebook, so I'll go to your book.
Exactly.
That's the oldest book, right? But just holler at a brother.
Yeah,
I'm here. I don't really. I don't want to go through that again.
No,
but,
please,
yeah,
please,
but
please.
that was the something I had to go through. You know, he was preparing me for
That
my
was your
season,
pivotal moment
for
right
his
there.
grace and favor,
Yep.
and he was testing me to see if I had the intestinal fortitude to go through it. And he said, if you go through this and you rise, you ain't gonna look back.
The sky's the
Yep.
limit, baby.
Skies, and every day he keeps making that limit, you know, and blessing me with people, you know, and putting people in my life to support my vision,
Yes,
you know,
amen.
AKA you two young ladies,
And
you
we
know what I
are
mean?
so blessed.
Yep,
and
hang on
honored
that
to
word,
have you.
young ladies.
I ain't that young, baby. Don't let the wiki fool you. He ain't see the
I
grades.
kid you.
I got a head
Listen,
full of grades.
You
honey.
don't look your age, so take it that you're still young. Take it.
Tell,
Some people
tell my
that
body that because listen.
look, at least we still
Listen,
walking. Some
Linda.
people that ain't functioning.
Amen.
Oh,
Let's
honey,
be blessed
I
Amen.
know
with
that
what's
for a
going
fact.
on.
I take care of those
And I say that there's another thing that I say a lot when I'm speaking. I'm like, tonight when you get home, before you put head to pillow, fall on your knees. Fall on your knees, all right?
God, you know I don't get
kick
on my knees and
your
I'm sorry,
shoes
but I
under,
pray every
yeah,
every
or
day.
kick your shoes underneath the bed. So in the morning, you got to drop to your knees to get your shoes. While you're down there, look up and give him thanks.
God, you know I love you.
Give him thanks.
And yeah, he knows I love
Yes.
him. I don't get on my knees.
Mhm.
But I have gone on my knees a few times. I need help getting back up. That is a whole. I got on my knees when you blessed me with my house, God. You know that. Okay, I kissed the floor. Yes, I did that 2 times, God. God, I kissed the floor when you. Yes, I
Can we get a
did.
mic? Can we get a
No,
mic?
you got to listen.
I did.
Right.
Word everything I love.
Stand up.
I know,
I
right.
signed the deed to my house. Then this was. I'll tell you how God is. Well, I can't tell you how. I can't say how you are, God. Just only saying what I feel. Okay. So anyway, I know I'm enough.
Should we be paying for this? This is too much for color
I don't know,
TV.
God. Do I need to get paid for this?
This is too much for color TV.
I signed a deed to my house.
Mhm.
I left the lawyer's office right then and there. I was with my son because he was a baby, and we walked out. I might have had both my kids. I don't remember, but and I literally stopped right there in the front entrance, and I got on my knees and I, cried, and I kissed the floor and I said, "Thank you, God, thank you, Jesus." I did. I kissed the dirty floor. Wasn't thinking about Corona back then, but anyway. Thank you. So anyway, God bless me. And then I did it again. My daughter's 316 because that was a whole rendezvous of trying to do all that. You know what I mean? Chop those words.
I know. My sister just turned 16.
Oh,
It was
honey. Whew.
Oh, speak to that.
Planning that whole shindig in less than a couple months because she was bipolar, whether she wanted it or not. And it all worked out perfectly because everything that turns out perfectly, you know for a fact that is God behind it.
Amen.
I'll tell you that from the beginning to the end when it's perfect.
He got his hands all in.
Oh, all up in that. And I was like, God, this really worked out. Thank you. And I got down in that dirty warehouse in the back or whatever. On my knees, God. And I did. 2 times. I love you. But anywho,
Take your time.
I don't get on my knees like that. I need a pillow. I need a whole brace. My knees are, after you hit 40, it's just different.
Yeah, I can relate. Or it's different to the point where you wake up in the morning and you have aches and pains. You're like, I didn't fall. I didn't get hit. Where did that pain come from? I didn't even earn it.
Pass throughout the whole day for the kids. It's like, Okay.
That's why I constantly try to surround myself with youth.
Yes.
And draw from their energy. Draw from their energy.
That's why I do all that Reiki. Like, give me all that.
Draw from their energy.
Yes, let me get that. Okay, so where are we at now?
You pretty much answered all these questions.
I was just going to say, because I didn't have any.
That's why I really
so what's coming up next for you? Where can people find you at? I'm going to put all that in here.
Yep, I think I gave, where was that sheet? I gave it to you.
What's the name of your...
okay, ready? Made to Believe, all right?
Yeah.
And if people want to reach me, they can, you know what? Because she sets up all this for me, all right? I'm going to let Erica read that.
There you go, honey.
She teaches me how to use all these social media things, all right? Yep. So they can reach me at Facebook.
Are you for hire? Because I need somebody to do all my stuff.
We'll talk.
Okay, give me your card. Because I get lost in all these social medias. I don't even do Facebook, y'all know.
So how do they reach me, Miss D?
All right. So you guys can reach him on Facebook at Bosh Jr. or on Instagram at H_Bosh Jr. or on Twitter Bosh Jr. At Bosh Jr. 1. Sorry, it was the way it was written.
Erica's like, I didn't write that.
Right. And they can email me at...
is it Wakenda?
Made to Believe.
Oh, sorry. Made to Believe
with the number 2?
Yep. MADE.
At yahoo.com.
Yeah, number 2 at yahoo.com.
Okay. And they can also find you in the Sanctuary.
The mediasanctuary.org.
Or on SoundCloud.
Or SoundCloud, yep.
Okay, so where's your radio? Where can they find your radio station?
SoundCloud, right?
Yeah,
What's
SoundCloud
the name
or Media.
it's just
Mediasanctuary.org.
That's the radio name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's not like 104.5 or...
Oh, the station is...
105.3. Yeah.
105.3 FM?
Yep,
Yeah.
FM.
Okay.
Troy, New York, yep. But we also are on 2 other stations. We're 98.9 Schenectady, and we're 107.3 WCCA in Albany. I reach about 100,000 people every week.
Wow. And what days are you on?
I'm Thursday, Thursday 6 to 7 a.m.
Okay.
And then Friday 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. All right, every Thursday 6 to 7 p.m. and Fridays 7 a.m. and 9 a.m.
Okay, you guys got that. And I'm going to post all that information on the site so you have ways to get in contact with him. Now, do you have people on your show? Like, she's like, yes.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Twice.
Tell us about your experience. Do you have a name for your show? Is it just H-Bosh?
What's the name of my show, Erica?
Triple E.
Yes.
Ooh, Triple E.
Yep.
What's the E stands for?
Education, Empowerment, Entrepreneurship.
I love it. That's what we're all about.
Right?
Definitely.
That's a genre that reaches everybody, and
Yeah.
that's something else that God gave me.
Yeah,
Because I'm like, well, what do I want? You know, he gave me triple, then he just started throwing E's at me. E's.
Yeah.
Education, empowerment, entrepreneurship, all things that is in my wheelhouse.
You gotta look at my little. You read that?
Erica.
Yes, that's the biggest thing. Right, Erica. Right, I like that. That was the biggest thing. Erica. Yep.
He was giving you E's for a reason.
Oh my God! Look, when he brought me that was the biggest thing.
That was the biggie right there.
Yep, that was the biggest thing. I like that. Yep, Erica. Yep. So so he gave me that, and now it's getting ready to go to the next level where I'm going to start branding, overcoming adversity specialist. It's going to go into the next level where you're going to be getting shirts, bands, cups, everything. Yep, overcoming adversity specialist. I'm sure everyone can relate to that, and we're getting ready to take things to the next level in terms of branding. Clothing, literature, everything. Everything is going to come under the, Made to Believe, Overcoming Adversity Specialist.
So when you're writing that book?
Well,
When you writing that book?
Yeah, you know what it is? I'll say this. And people say to me all the time, man, where is the book? Even when I speak at colleges, a lot of people say, you need a book.
Yes.
I gotta say, it has to come to me.
Yes.
A lot of people just throw a book out to throw a book out. I want it to come to me.
And God is gonna send it.
Yeah.
Just
Exactly.
like they send me
Exactly.
my book. I'm gonna show you my book.
Yep. When it comes to me, I'll know.
So you gonna know
Yep.
it because your mind won't rest until your fingers start typing, honey. I got up in the middle of the night, like 3 nights in a row. It was just these books.
So let me do a little Wheel of Fortune.
Vanna White, yeah, Patrick Sajak and Vanna White.
Yep.
Okay, but yeah. So when it comes that, look, I was like, what's going on here? Poems, bing, 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 bing. And I'm like, all right, so you guys want me to do something about it? Because I used to write poetry like years ago.
Okay.
I actually had I wrote a whole book, but I just think that's all. Look, that's all. But tell us. So you plan on writing a book?
You said what?
Absolutely. When it comes to me,
to
yep. I mean, I know I got all the material.
God's
I'm living proof of the material. But I want to do the book, and then I want to do something like a sequence of helping people and stuff like that. But I want it all to come through me.
Yes.
Yes. I want to be living proof of what I do, how I do it, and that people can look at my experience and can attach themselves to my journey.
Yeah.
You see, and go along with it. I mean, the best way to teach something is you learned it, and you live it. And so that's where I want to, experience. Yeah. As they say, they say wisdom is knowledge applied, So, that's where I want to go.
True.
So
They
that,
also say wisdom is all my gray hairs, but I can't tell.
that's another story for another time. Yeah. Yep, that's
a
another
whole
story.
lot of wisdom right there, God.
Yeah.
How much more you want to give me?
So
But,
when I say that, that's why I'm grateful, because I've had, when I said my journey is threefold,
Yeah.
The entrepreneurial piece, the criminal justice piece, and now radio and media.
Yeah.
So I now have the trifecta, and I'm putting all that together to really
got all that.
make. Yeah, exactly. Yep. And I'm doing that now to really make an impact, to say, this is where I was, this is what happened, and this is where I'm going. Yeah.
But you've been making an impact from the very beginning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, without a doubt.
So you're just continuing to make bigger and more impact.
And what's so ironic is, for years and years, people would not detach me from Bosh movement. When I got to kind of build my own following and my own career on this, so now people look at me in my current space in life, radio, media, and they don't even look at me as being an entrepreneur and being a successful one for almost 20 years, because for years and years I was out of the moving and storage business, but people would walk up to me, I need to be moved, or this, that, and I was like, so do I need to be moved. Exactly. Right.
Actually, we got movers on deck too.
Exactly. But that was a blessing, because I was so good at what I did, right? And now they look at me and my current journey and station in life as doing this. But I tell people, I says, I was an entrepreneur way before a lot of other people. And when I start to talk about it, they realize, oh, right, I remember. Yes, this, that, and the other, And I just don't talk about it a lot. But now people who know me in my past career, they'll invite me to seminars about entrepreneurship and starting businesses, because when I was in business the good old fashioned way. We didn't have social media.
Yeah.
We didn't have all the perks that these businesses have now.
Exactly.
We had good old hard work.
You had to get out there.
Exactly.
Face to face.
Yeah.
And as my daddy used to tell me,
wait for
all
your
right,
meeting.
one day I was helping him do work, because he was a bright man. He could build a house with his eyes closed, and I was in a basement helping him do work. And I says, Dad, can I go play sports this night? He said, you young boys don't know how to work. So I'm like, Dad, here we go, another one of your stories. He said, yeah, well, let me tell you, when I was a boy, we used to work from kin to cane. So I'm like,
kin to cane?
Yeah, what is kin to cane? He said, we used to go to work when we can see, and we would stop when we can't.
Kin to cane.
Kin to cane.
I gotta use that one.
Kin to cane. He said, we worked would work
I
from
like that
kin
one.
to cane.
Kin
Work,
to cane.
yeah, he said work till we can
Until
see.
you cannot see no more.
Yep, he said we go to work when we can see, and then we stop when we can't. Now think about it though. That's a long day.
Yeah,
when you think about,
I'm gonna say
Yes.
I would buy like 5 of them. One
Right.
for me, my children, everybody.
but think in Alabama,
yes.
all right,
Kin.
you can see at 5 o'clock in the morning.
That is
Yeah.
the whole
You
time.
can't
correct.
see until about 9.
Yeah.
That's a long day.
Mm.
And just the way he was to say, yeah, we used to work from kin to
Kin to
cane.
cane.
I'm like, please tell me, what is kin to cane? Work till you can see, till you can't. That's it. Yep.
Oh my
And,
God.
I didn't use that.
and that visualization, kin to cane. Kin is 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
Yep. Cane is 9 o'clock.
At night.
Alabama
but it's so
sun.
fun.
Y'all hear me?
Yes.
Alabama sun. That
Yep.
is like, man, that is a
Oh,
long
that is
day.
an extra long day.
Yes.
Yeah.
But me and her was just
But-
talking yesterday because she was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "When do
Oh,
I?"
yeah, it was like, yeah.
It's like you can't. You have to work kin to kin until
I'll
I
kin to
as
kin
long
till
as I can
the
keep
eyes
my eyes open.
Kin to
Look,
cane.
I'll
Yeah.
kin when the eye opens.
And then when
I
I
kin.
told you,
can't.
I told you
I go
yesterday. I said I'm gonna try to go to bed early today. That was a
And
whole
that was,
lot.
I was
Right,
texting
right.
you at 11:30,
Babe,
12 o'clock.
Early for me is I said I'm gonna try to go to bed early today. I ain't gonna sleep till about 2 in the morning. I'm like, until I can't keep my eyes open.
So that kin to cane, back when I was in the game of entrepreneurship, was after my workers would go home, and I would tell them a lot of times, I'm like, when you done lifting the last piece of furniture, you go home, grab a 6-pack, grab the old lady, and do what you do as a couple. I got to go home and balance the books. I got to look to say, hey, this, that, and the other, because people would always say, what's your next payroll? All right, my next payroll, or no, what's your last payroll? I said, it was my last. My next payroll, I don't know until I make my next payroll. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And I got to balance the stuff. I got to figure out how that 6-pack that you drinking so casually will get paid for, So that, to me, was my kin to cane.
Yep.
Didn't have social media.
Yep.
I worked the good old-fashioned, hard, long days. But I built a business, and I was very successful. And I like to say at that time, I was a master networker because because I was my business, and I was proud. I was a black man, entrepreneur, and I used to always have this little saying on my cards. It would be H. Bosh Jr., president of H. Bosh Moving and Storage. So I used to always say, see, there is a black president.
I know. I was the first black president.
I was the black president way before.
Way before Barack.
So I say so
Obama.
graciously, way before President Obama.
Exactly.
I was, and I had my same colors, black and gold, So yeah, God was really good to me.
Amen.
But I tell a lot of these young entrepreneurs, I was in the game, man, way before. Yeah. And when I speak to them, I tell them, if you really want to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to first find your product, and then you have to believe in it, and you can't worry about money. Yeah. Worry about your product.
Yeah.
Worry about delivering. And if you truly are good at delivering, money will come. See, delivery, vision, and then God will provide what?
The PRO for that vision, baby. The
Which
provision.
is provision.
Yes.
So I always focus on delivery, service, and God provided me with the houses, the cars, the traveling all over the world. I remember that I was so blessed, and I don't like to brag about some of the things that I was able to do, but I remember flying from here to Constitutional Hall on People Airlines, seeing Anita Baker, all right, Frankie Beverly and Mays, Constitutional Hall, and then flying back. That's how I was living.
That's
I told
amazing.
people I was living like a pro athlete and never signed a contract. It was all my own doing.
Yep.
I would fly to
dedication.
Maine with a date. I would say, all right, let me impress you. Oh, well, we gonna go to the movie. Oh, yeah. I gotta get my nails done. I said, no, meet me at the airport. Well, I want to go to the airport. I don't want to see no planes. Right?
I'm not sitting outside and call about the airport.
Right. They meet me at the airport. Where we going? We going to New Hampshire for lobster. All right, fly to New Hampshire, lobster, sitting over the me, with things that I could only dream of. But then again, he knew I also blessed a lot of other people.
Yep, and that's how it is.
You see, I gave much more than I received.
Yep.
And I always help, and I still do that. Yep. There's more blessings to give than there are to receive.
Yeah, my thing that I always say, I thought I had it.
It's supposed to be in the back. Oh, my new copy.
I had to re-up this one. But anyway, my one of my favorite sayings is be blessed, but more so be a blessing for others.
Exactly.
That's my thing right there.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. You know, be a blessing to others.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You know. Yeah. Or I say, you know, you don't have to be the first. Just don't be the last.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, do something. So that's, you know, my little short story career. You know,
it was an amazing journey.
and I hope I wasn't too long-winded.
No,
Yeah.
you were fine. Minus the technical difficulties, I enjoyed every second of it.
Well, trust me, if there's a glitch, I can always start over. Yep.
No problem. We will
I
have
live-
you back. But you know what? In the meantime, I am going to talk to you afterwards because I have a whole magazine too that we're doing.
Okay.
So I would like to do an article. Spotlight you in
my
the magazine.
goodness.
Yes,
Yeah.
we'll
Because I
Yes.
love what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I am
I would
truly
like to have
honored
you-
and humbled. Yeah.
And that.
You gotta tell the camera back because y'all still have it.
Oh!
Yeah.
Him in November's poetic. I mean, not poetic. That's the book. Blessings magazine. October's issue is now out. You guys can get it on Blurb. I'll send the thing. Sheena has an amazing page in it, along with all the other writers. Too long to list right now because my mind is fried.
Yes.
But you guys been seeing it, and I'm going to spotlight you
Yes.
Thank you.
And I'll
in
next one.
November's issue, and we're gonna put you up in there.
Yeah.
I
I'm
am
in there.
I love
truly
everything
honored
that
and
you're
humbled.
doing. I love all about empowering, educating, motivating,
Yes.
moving.